force for good and a very important sorcerer.
The following is an original production of the Sorcerer Radio Network.
Are you insane?
Broadcasting live from Music City.
Walt Disney's
WDW Tiki Room, the show about all things Disney.
Hey, Michael, mi amigo, pay attention, it's showtime.
So it is, and what darling people I have sitting under me.
With Kristen and Aljon.
We better start the show rolling.
Happy holidays. It's WDW Tiki Room, the show about all things Disney on Sorcerer Radio. I'm Aljon.
And I'm Kristen.
And we wish you a happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah to all of our Jewish listeners, and Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa and all that good stuff. Hopefully you got all of your holiday shopping done.
Me?
Yeah.
I did.
I hope our listeners did too. Remember?
You?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I'm expecting some good stuff under the Christmas tree.
Good thing you've got that Amazon wish list, and you can get some last minute shopping done too. All you have to do is visit wdwtgroom.com and click on our Amazon link. It doesn't cost you any more. You just help out the show. The other way you can help out the show is booking your Disney vacation, because we know your family's going to be around. You're talking about your next trip to Disney, so why not give Kristen over here a call?
Yes, they should definitely do that. Or cruises.
Yeah,
cruises. And cruises are fun.
Yes, they are. Hey, you know what else is fun? This show today, we have our very good friend Brian Rood, Disney and Marvel artist. What do you think about Brian?
He's awesome. He is my favorite artist by far.
Well, I was able to talk to him earlier this week, and he is working on a very special project and exclusive news courtesy of Disney and Lucasfilm. He's going to drop on this show today. Are you excited about that?
Of course.
Now, Brian will also be at Star Wars Weekends. I believe he'll be showing at the very last Star Wars Weekends this year, and he'll also be at D23 and at Star Wars Celebration, all back to back. So he's going to be a very busy bee and doing a bunch of different projects, and you can visit him at brianrood.com. So we're going to have some information and some great advice for up-and-coming artists as well. Now, Dan Barnes has got the 411, and it's going to be later on in the show, and Dan is talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, the latest installment. It's going to be coming out soon. Have you heard the news?
What news?
They're looking to bring Orlando Bloom back.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know what to think about that.
Well, it's supposed to be a prequel, so Dan's going to have a little bit of a rant to go on regarding that. You know, it's crazy. Disney right now is the leader, our leaders in film. They had a great year, of course, with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which you saw and you enjoyed.
Yeah, I did.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did see that too.
And they've got a bunch of great new movies. This is, by the way, our last show for 2015. So, you know, I think in terms of highlights, what did you like about 2015, and what did you not like about 2015 in the world of Disney?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. What did I like?
How about movies? You like both of the Marvel movies, I know that.
Yeah, I did, but I can't think of any other movies.
Okay. Well, Maleficent came out, and a lot of people enjoyed that.
I only saw part of it.
And then there was also, you know, the new Fantasyland, and I guess with a Mine Train.
Oh, that's true. The Mine Train opened, huh?
Yep. And Mine Train was great, and you wrote it. What do you think about the Mine Train?
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And, you know, in terms of, you know, Lucasfilm, obviously Star Wars Rebels is a big hit for them, and the announcement and the I guess you could say the teaser for Star Wars Episode 7, which is now called The Force Awakens, has got everyone really excited about Star Wars again. And in terms of the parks, like I said, you know, the new Fantasyland, and Bob Iger, you know, last week saying how much he liked the brand new ride that they're going to be putting in to Pandora, or the world of Avatar, which should be opening up here in a couple of years. So we have some things to look forward to. But, you know, the parks are undergoing a massive redo right now, and it's a great time to be a fan of the parks. I mean, you know, this year was the year they rolled out the Magic Bands in full force. So I don't know. It's been kind of a mixed bag for a lot of guests, but I think overall they're working out all the kinks. And, what would you have to say about all the innovations and stuff they're doing at the parks?
You know what? The only thing I don't like about the Magic Bands is picking out Fast Pass Plus. You pretty much have to do it 60 days in advance. I'm not a fan of that. I want to be able to get them the day before, and you can't get things like Toy Story Mania the day before. That's the one thing I'm not fond of.
Well, we'll probably break down the things we really, really enjoyed about 2014 and what we look forward to in 2015 when we come back right after New Year's. So it's going to be a really cool thing. We want you to interact with us through Facebook and also Twitter. You can also call our hotline as well. And we want you to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and, of course, our podcast as well, so you can hear highlights from the past 5 years. This year marked 5 years of us doing WDW Tiki Room. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's a long time.
It is. So we really appreciate you listening. We would even more appreciate you supporting our great sponsors and listening to Source Radio and subscribing to our podcast as well. Every little bit helps. So I tell you what, we'll be right back with our interview with Mr. Brian Rood, Disney Fine Artist. You can find it at brianrood.com, and stay tuned for the exclusive interview tidbits he's going to drop regarding a very special project that he's working on with Lucasfilm. And of course, Dan Barnes, Disney 411 coming in the later part of the show. So stick around. It is WDW Tiki Room on Sorcerer Radio. All Disney music all day long, srsounds.com. Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com. Leave your show comments, requests, and discussion topics on the new WDW Tiki Room voicemail. Call 850-888-TIKI. That's 850-888-8454. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at WDW Tiki Room. WDW Tiki Room interview on Sorcerer Radio. Happy holidays, and we are back. The rest of the year has just about passed us by, but it isn't a year of Sorcerer Radio. It isn't a year of WDW Tiki Room until we check in with a good friend and a regular guest, the artist himself, Mr. Brian Rood. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing okay. We're not freezing here in Nashville, and that's good. But in your neck of the woods...
Not too bad here yet, but
okay.
Never say never. We're in Michigan, so any day can take a quick turn.
I know, right? Cold weather aside, things are heating up because Star Wars Celebration is just right around the corner. People know you, Mr. Brian Rood. Of course, your website, brianrood.com. People know your artwork because of your fantastic, paintings, the D Street paintings that you do, watercolors. You do a lot of great Disney fine art for that. Acme for people that are that love to collect art and pop culture. Your stuff is displayed all over the Walt Disney World and Disneyland properties.
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate, man. I mean, it's still kind of surreal when I walk through there with my family or friends go there and I see them take snapshots of just the various galleries and stores and all the fun little collectible merchandise areas throughout the park that I do have artwork hanging in and collections of my stuff in. Yeah, and people are buying up art now more than ever. I know that when I go to Comic-Cons, conventions, and things like that, I'm picking up pieces of art. People are using them and placing them in very prominent places in their home. Do you feel that the being a Disney fine artist that you're feeling that maybe the art now is being more front and center in people's minds? Yeah, it definitely, it seems to be, I don't know if it's just because of so many more films coming out of the subject matter or things of that nature, but the collectible market certainly hasn't slowed down at all. Like you said, if anything, it's actually picked up over the past few years when it comes to the lithographs and the fine art, clay reproduction, stuff like that. I am fortunate to have a pretty good fan base that is always purchasing, looking for new pieces and hoping that I release new pieces. So I guess to answer your question, it definitely has picked up, and it's still picking up and progressing forward.
Last time we had you on the show, talked a little bit about how much George Lucas likes your artwork, and stars like Harrison Ford really appreciate the type of life detail you put into your art, the photorealism of your artwork.
Right.
You are still doing a lot of that stuff and integrating that with the commission stuff you're doing for companies like Hasbro. What has that been like?
Yeah, well, that's my bread and butter, not just Hasbro, but being, like you mentioned, the commissions, work for hires. I've been very fortunate over the course of the last year to 2 years to really start doing even some larger scale projects with directly with Disney and Lucasfilm Licensing, Disney Publishing actually, and Lucasfilm Licensing, and they've been keeping me. I've actually been on the same project for almost a year and a half now, which is over 2 240 illustrations based on episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really intense. It's going to be one of the most comprehensive illustrated tellings of the original trilogy. I mean, if you break it down, over 80 illustrations per film. That's whatever the exact math is on that. Every minute and a half of film or so is going to be depicted in one of my illustrations.
Man, that's really crazy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is crazy stuff.
What's that?
Oh, so that's crazy stuff because, when I think of Star Wars and art, obviously, Ralph McQuarrie comes to mind first. And then, because of his association with Lucas and doing all the great pre-prod stuff that he did that inspired the entire, Star Wars universe. And then the next person I think of is Drew Struzan. And how, for me as a fan of pop culture films, you look at his artwork, Drew Struzan, and there's a Netflix documentary that I believe every fan of Disney, Star Wars, Marvel.
Dozens of times already.
I know, me too. I've turned people onto it and they're just blown away. It's like, you don't know his name, but you know his art, from the Indiana Jones posters to the Star Wars posters of movie posters to the Back to the Future trilogy posters. Stuff that you do.
Most of my friends aren't even in this industry. And then I mentioned like Drew Struzan, like you said, they couldn't tell you, they've never heard the name before. But then I started listing down a few of the movie posters and the iconic images from those films, and immediately they are familiar with his work and stuff like, oh, that's all one guy.
Yeah, it's all one guy. Changed an industry, and I believe opened the doors for artists like yourself to come in, because your style, I feel you're carrying on that kind of torch, because I believe Drew is now retired, but...
Yeah, I mean, he's, I guess, semi-retired, I don't know. He's retired, but he's still putting out all kinds of great artwork. I think he's just retired from the daily grind of... commercial stuff. He's more doing what he wants to do now, kind of at that stage of the career, which is awesome. I mean, for an artist to be able to kind of pick and choose and do what he wants to do is pretty fantastic. So, he deserves it.
Well, absolutely. And for me as a fan, and I know a lot of others too that listen to this podcast and listen to this radio show, they look at your art and they go, wow, here's a guy, mega talented, carrying on the same type of tradition in terms of, composition. And I see a lot of that in the compilations and the composition that you put out, especially in your celebration posters and things like that. How does it feel to kind of, have fans kind of regard your art in the same kind of light?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I mean, for a long time, I spent a lot of years kind of not directly emulating and trying to copy exactly what Drew's done and other guys like him, but, obviously those are huge influences for me, and it's kind of neat to be at a point now where I've started to carve my own path a little bit and have a set style or a couple, variations of a set style that is distinct to my own stuff, yet it's still reminiscent of like Drew and all the masters we're talking about and all those great classics. So it's a weird point to be at in a career. I mean, as an artist, you spend a long time trying to make a name for yourself, trying to have one set look and everything, and the funny part is, for me, it was actually melding like 5 or 10 different styles, everything from, acrylic airbrushing to watercoloring to, I do digital painting, and I'll print them out on archival canvases, hand embellish and repaint for top of digital artwork. So it's really just a huge mixed medium, and it's all kind of melded into this set style now that I've been working it for a while.
How does that work?
Does it work?
Yeah.
I have work, so people are hiring me for it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah.
That's the biggest thing, and that's this big project I was telling you about with Disney Publishing and LFL, the storybook project. Yeah,
tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned earlier, it's over 240 illustrations. Almost not frame by frame, but, very comprehensive retelling of episodes 4, 5, and 6. It's coming out early September. It's going to be published in a 300-page illustrated storybook of 4, 5, and 6. And actually, prior to that, I don't know the exact dates. I'll get you an email with all the exact dates and everything.
Sure.
But this spring, over the course of 2 or 3 months, you remember those old read-along books when we were kids with 45 LPs in them?
Absolutely.
Well, that's what, I'm doing. Yeah. They're using my artwork for the new version of that for 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, wow.
And eventually 1, 2, and 3. I'm actually starting that as soon as the year begins. So, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And talk about art style and stuff. Excuse me, I'm still kind of getting over a cold.
That's all right.
The art style that we were talking about with the melding of the traditional, the original, all these different techniques. I mean, it's almost 20 years in the making of coming up with the style and then totally flipping it upside down and coming up with something new for this project. But it's still reminiscent of all the other stuff I'm doing all these years. So that was really kind of coming full circle and putting everything to play, putting all that knowledge and all those experiments and artistic creations and stylistically, style changes and stuff, pulling it together to create a uniform body of work. It's going to be comprehensive, look awesome, and hopefully all the fans love it and stuff.
Well, I'm sure they will, for sure, and be looking out for that book. Hopefully, we'll be able to get maybe a glimpse of it when you're in Artist Alley at some of the conventions coming up in 2015.
You get a glimpse of it, actually, when you put live. We have the covers to all the read-alongs I just got approved from Disney to send you, and we have a nice sampling of some of the coolest images from the interiors of the books, the interior spreads.
Well, that's
so you're going to actually, when you post this interview, and whenever you do it, in the next couple days or weeks or whatever, you're going to be able to include the first premiere of the read-along books, and then it's the same artwork. It's going to be formatted a little bit differently, but many of the same images then are going to be recycled with an addition of actually double the amount. The read-alongs are composed around 120 images or so.
Wow.
It's going to be 240-foot big book, so it's going to be pretty wild stuff.
Well, I can't wait to have my own copy that I'm going to order, or when I see you. It's either going to be ordered through Amazon, or when I see you at the upcoming 2015 convention circuit. That's just days around bend, it seems. That I don't remember what.
I mean,
where did 2014 go is my question.
I don't know. You know what, with Celebration being so early this year, I'm just wrapping up 4, 5, and 6 part of this book. I have a little marathon of art to do over the next 3 or 4 weeks on this to even begin episodes 1, 2, and 3. Then we have a Celebration show is going to be right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just in case you're listening to the show either on demand or you're listening to the show on Sorcerer Radio, Star Wars Celebration is going to be happening in Anaheim, April 16th through 19th at the Anaheim Convention Center in California. You need to be there. I'm going to be there. My wife's going to be there. We're going to be broadcasting from there. And I believe we're also going to take part in some of the digital podcasting stage stuff that's going down with our friends at Rebel Force Radio and Star Wars Port. So many other people that are going to be there covering it. Of course, us covering it from the Disney Star Wars side of things, which is always cool. And of course, Brian's going to be there, displaying his wares and talking about the book.
It's going to be fun. We'll do kind of like we always do at the show. I'll be there, obviously, selling the art prints, all that good stuff. I'll also be doing some live art demos, everything from the traditional watercolor stuff to a new technique I'm doing digital, the help of a MacBook Pro, actually called Modbook Pro, which is such a graphics tablet. You can take a full-blown graphics tablet, computer, everything, and a portable tablet you can take with you on road and create digital art anywhere you go.
Wow.
Which has been a lifesaver for me, doing these many illustrations. Until I got that, I was absolutely just chained to the easel. You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say, because, your work, you use so much.
Like a year.
Yeah, well, you use so much different media. When you look at, your website at brianrood.com, for those of you listening that are not familiar, you go to brianrood.com and you can check out his portfolio. He's got, pictures of the Indiana Jones art he's done, the Ghostbuster stuff, which, by the way, I love.
Thank you.
And by the way,
well, Ghostbuster shop, you can pick up the fine art line I'm developing on that too. It's still only have the first 3 pieces out. I've been so busy with the Star Wars universe, but we're going to be jumping back on that real soon here too.
Oh, gotta be. I have to ask you, how do you feel about, well, I remember, you're doing the Ghostbuster stuff, and then all of a sudden you've got Harold Ramis had passed away, and your art, I know, had gone viral, because of, the Ghostbusters prints that you did. I mean, how influenced, cause we're about the same age, right? I mean, I would assume that Ghostbusters played an important part of your life growing up.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. That was like one of the first kind of fun. I mean, I have vivid memories of seeing that in the theater. It's one of the first movies I really, really remember seeing, and like my feeling towards it. Because in '77 I was home too, so obviously I didn't see Star Wars in theater and have that great story to tell. Now, a different story with Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, but
right.
But Ghostbusters, yeah, for sure. I was at that perfect age to go see that.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're great. I mean, you want to support the artist, go to brianrood.com and click on his gallery there and shopping, actually the shopping tab. You can take home a lot of those different prints. Not only does he have great prints of Star Wars and the Ghostbusters, but also Disney stuff as well. Recently, we celebrated Walt's birth and his passing. But you've got a print in there called Master at Work in the fine art section, which is one of my favorite pieces that it's also displayed in the Disney stuff. Do you have any stuff going on right now with Disney and maybe some of the Art of Disney stores that you can talk about?
Right now, the biggest thing, like with Disney, as far as outside of the Star Wars franchise, obviously, I am going to go back and start revisiting some of the classic titled stuff. It's just everything's been so all-consuming with these Star Wars projects, which is a good thing. It's just, the big build-up before Episode 7 and everything, and reintroducing classic line of characters in the classic trilogy to new generation, which is all part of the storybook project. It's just kind of reintroduction to young readers and young, kids that are only familiar with maybe the Clone Wars and maybe the prequels and Rebel now. This is a reintroduction to Han and Leia.
I know it's super exciting for me. Circling back on this is going to be a huge art book. You're going to see all of this preview stuff as it debuts on the Sorcerer Radio website at srsounds.com as well as JediMouseketeer.com. This book is going to be absolutely incredible. You're going to get the scoop right now.
We'll have a lot of good previews over the course of the season, doing different shows and stuff. I'm assuming I'll probably end up seeing you guys more than one show. I'm doing, I don't know if you're doing Star Wars Weekends at all this year, but I'm attending that with Acme.
Yep.
I believe I'm going to be there the final weekend, so weekend 5.
Okay.
Which is, I think, June 13th through 15th, something like that. But it's the final weekend 5 of Star Wars Weekends. I will be there. We'll have some of the new stuff on display from the books that we keep talking about. And, I mean, hopefully some of that stuff eventually also be re-released as some fine art productions, because, hundreds of paintings that will just be beautiful art print and stuff. So that's always a possibility, too, in the future.
And with you partnering up, of course, with longtime partners Acme, and then doing Star Wars Weekends, doing Star Wars Celebration, is going to be...
We had a great talk the other day. It's going to be a crazy year.
Well, my question to you is...
We're going to do a lot of fun things.
Oh, well, I can't wait.
We'll have more with Disney fine artist Brian Rood when we come back.
Hi, I'm Tom Bancroft, animator on Disney's The Lion King, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Mulan, and others, and you're listening to Sorcerer Radio.
Do you hear that? Hear what? I'm receiving some sort of transmission. Routed through the main system. Routing...
Looking to take a Disney vacation or cruise? Contact Kristen of MagicalJourneysVacations.com. Magical Journeys is an authorized Disney vacation planner. Kristen will get you the best price available and continue to search for deals until the day you travel, taking the worry out of planning your fantastic vacation. Kristen can help plan your dining reservations and answer any questions you may have. She'll even send you maps from the parks. So contact Kristen of Magical Journeys for your next cruise or Disney vacation, and you'll be supporting WDW Tiki Room. Contact Kristen of Magical Journeys at MagicalJourneysVacations.com and mention Sorcerer Radio. So what are you waiting for? Book today at MagicalJourneysVacations.com.
Wow, that sounds great. I want to go. Well, you can't. Why not? Because we have to stay at our posts and keep rebel scum like him out.
Book today at MagicalJourneysVacations.com. WDW Tiki Room 2014 event coverage made possible by Halloween Express. For Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars costumes, visit HalloweenExpress.com. MagicalJourneysVacations.com. Book your Disney vacation or cruise today. Jedi Mouseketeer. Geeky news from the universe of Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars at www.JediMouseketeer.com. DiningAtDisney.com. The happiest plate on earth. Dining tips and more at DiningAtDisney.com. WDW After Dark, the weekly webcast for adult Disney fans at www.wdwafterdark.com. And Sorcerer Radio, all Disney music all day long at srsounds.com.
Pardon the interruption. I have some news which I believe you will find most interesting.
Would you like to hear the latest in Marvel television, film, video games, and comic books? Or are you looking for some ideas on what to pick up on New Comic Book Day? Well, join Mike and Eric on Mighty Marvel Geeks every Saturday night on Sorcerer Radio and every Sunday on the Weeby Geeks Network for all things Marvel.
There is a matter that requires your attention.
Mighty Marvel Geeks. Assemble.
All wrapped up here, sir. Will there be anything else?
Are you looking for some fun on Facebook with fellow Disney fans? Then you need to join the Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone. The Fun Zone is an exclusive online gathering place where young and old alike can come and share their love of all things Disney in a family-friendly atmosphere. It'll also be your place for exclusive downloads, images, giveaways, and more. Join us online by going to Facebook.com and searching for Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone. That's the Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone, part of Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com.
It's the WDW Tiki Room with Kristen and Aljon.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Sorcerer Radio.
Welcome to the scare floor.
srsounds.com.
Merry Christmas to Smorgasbord Bird. When it's good, until you hurt.
Our cats are funny. You gotta love them.
Yeah, how can you not love them? They're so cute.
They are. I tell you what, we are going to have Dan Barnes coming up with a 411 here in just moments. We want you to enjoy the holiday season responsibly and also enjoy the holidays because we have holiday magic coming up later on today. The entire list of programming you can find at srsounds.com. Free apps for your smartphone. You can stream via our website. You can listen via TuneIn, Live 365. So many different ways to listen. And of course, you can take WDW Tiki Room and listen to us on demand now thanks to the Weeby Geeks Network. You can check them out at weebygeeks.net and download WDW After Dark, our webcast. You can also check out WDW Tiki Room as well. And Kristen, throughout this year, which celebrity or what interview did you enjoy the most?
Oh my gosh. Trying to think who all we interviewed this year.
How about throughout our 5-year history, because we are celebrating our 5-year history, if you could name 1 or 2 celebrities you enjoyed talking to over the course of the 5 years, who would it be?
Ashley Eckstein and Steven Stanton.
Oh, there you go. Outstanding. I thought you were going to say Todd English.
Todd English, too.
It just so happens
it's too early for me to think of all this. And, you're talking Star Wars, so that's immediately on my mind, of who we've interviewed from the Clone Wars. So that immediately...
And Disney.
Yeah, but I think of them as Star Wars. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's good stuff indeed. I think for me, those two obviously are standouts, but I really enjoyed talking to The Miz. That was a lot of fun. Okay, because I'm a WWE fan, so I enjoyed talking to Miz. And the other person I think I enjoyed talking to over the course of 5 years is actually Melissa Joan Hart, and you had a chance to talk to her by yourself, which is kind of cool. So you get to check that out as well. People that have done the show multiple times, like Brian Rood, Ashley Eckstein, Steven Stanton, those people are always so much fun to talk with, and we're going to talk to more of them. We're going to hear from more of them later in 2015. It should be a lot of fun, plus a lot of great new guests and Disney voiceover artists that you've heard throughout the Sorcerer Radio Network and our good friends and podcasts. So be listening and be on the lookout for that in 2015. Now,
hopefully we'll also have more chef interviews.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know that we'll probably get to hear from Bill Farmer. Brett Iwan was also a great interview for us as well. The voice of Goofy, Brett Iwan, the voice of Mickey Mouse. And of course, gosh, man, there's so many. Even Billy D. Williams. That was a lot of fun to do. So at any rate, I tell you what you need to do. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our show on iTunes, our podcast courtesy of WeBeGeeks.net, and let us know which interview you loved over the past course of 5 years. We'd love to hear from you. Right now, Dan Barnes has got the information on Pirates of the Caribbean and the quote-unquote prequel and all the news surrounding that. So right now, without further ado, here's Dan.
Get plugged in.
What about one of them mousey little doohickeys?
Disney pop culture news. It's the 411. 411.
So I think by now it's no secret that here on the 411, I've talked quite a lot this past year about the constant speculation around Pirates of the Caribbean 5. And to give you an idea of what I mean by constant, here's a little rundown of what I've followed and covered up to this week's latest news. First, we hear that Jerry Bruckheimer ends his deal with Walt Disney Pictures, but will stay on as exec producer of Pirates and wants them to continue, and Johnny Depp wants to keep playing Captain Jack as long as he can. Then we hear that the film's subtitle will be Dead Man Tell No Tales, and it'll be released in the summer of 2015. Then we hear that the movie gets pushed back to 2016. Then we hear that it gets pushed back again to 2017. And a couple months ago, we get Orlando Bloom hinting at a convention panel that he might be coming back as Will Turner. And now this week, we get a list of young actresses that are up for a role in the film. And also this week, we see multiple reports that Orlando Bloom will indeed be back, and the subtitle, Dead Man Tell No Tales, might be out, and the plot might be a soft reboot. Wait, what? Well, then is it a reboot? Is it a prequel? But Captain Jack is in it, right? Stop, guys. Drop the anchor. I'm seasick. I want to get off. I'll set sail with you again when Pirates of the Caribbean 5 hits theaters in the summer of 2017. Okay? I'm Dan Barnes, and this has been Disney and Pop Culture. To get your 411 on all the Disney and pop culture news, get plugged in on srsounds.com.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. And now back to our celebrity interview. Disney artist Brian Rood talking about his schedule for 2015.
We got Star Wars Weekend.
Yes.
Well, we have Celebration.
Yep.
And then Star Wars Weekend, a little bit, about a month after Celebration.
Yep.
And then we're going to have Comic-Con about a month after that.
Yep.
And then I believe we have to fit in, what is it? The big Disney show.
D23. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in August, right?
Yeah. We'll be there.
So,
yeah,
it's going to be pretty. That's what I said. I mean, I know I'm going to be setting up with Acme on and off at many of these different venues and stuff, as well as having my own demo stuff, especially like Comic-Con, like Celebration and stuff. I'll be having my big setups, but it's going to be a whirlwind of spring and summer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's all kind of leading up to this big release of Episode 7, too. So,
oh, yeah, for sure.
It's an exciting year, man, especially as more and more
Well, I'm sure Hasbro is going to have you on tap. I know that you're concentrating so fully on this, but with all the new Star Wars stuff and maybe even some of the Avengers stuff that may be coming out too.
Yeah, you never know. I had a good talk with a couple guys at Hasbro last year at Comic-Con, and I've done a lot of work with them in the past.
Yeah.
And my stuff is suited really well for kind of like the specialty packages.
Yep.
And like when I do all those comics 2-packs, stuff that needs a unique line of artwork for.
Yeah.
Because they'll do the standard package where they're going to have the same image over and over, obviously, like they do. But
right.
I'm looking forward to keeping my fingers crossed something does come out for me, because they're a great company to work for. I have a wonderful relationship with them, and it's fun gigs, man.
Well, one of the coolest things I think of is the fact that you do packaging for maybe some of the toy guns and board games and things like that.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I remember I actually did a cosplay for Boba Fett, and I picked up the Boba Fett blaster, and I looked at the blaster package, and I was thinking to myself, I think that's Brian's artwork on there, is it not?
Yes, it was. Yeah, those are traditional paintings too. Half the time I would do that stuff digital, not just for time constraints and what they actually want with layered filed stuff. But those were acrylic paintings, and I was just about darn near done with the paintings, and they had reminded me, oh, don't forget, you have to paint the guns in the toy colors, which took this nice traditional, beautiful acrylic painting into the next realm. Oh, it's kind of Boba Fett with his gun, but
exactly.
Why is the gun green and orange?
Oh no, yeah. Well, you see, that's why you save that one, and then then you do a digital version, right?
Exactly.
I know. Once again, our guest is Brian Rood.
For me, that's such fun stuff to go to the local Target or Toys R Us or Walmart, and you go down the Star Wars aisle, you get to see a couple packages, or you get to see the Tervis coffee mugs with your artwork on.
Yep.
I mean, that's just...
I've got that. I got the Tervis one. Yeah, I've got the Star Wars, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's Brian Rood's art on there, yeah. I've got that Tervis mug right here in the office.
Most of those things, like we were talking earlier with how Lucasfilm, they've purchased a lot of my artwork over the years. I don't even know when that stuff's going on normally. Obviously, the Hasbro jobs aren't commissioned to do it, but a lot of the stuff gets just put in that style guide, from the coffee mugs to where they use my art on the Blu-ray. I'm completely unaware of any of that stuff going on behind the scenes, because, it's not like my name's not plastered all over. It's just stock imagery almost.
Right.
It's like going to Getty's and grabbing a cool image of your favorite movie star. That's what these vendors and licensors are essentially doing Star Wars art.
Sure.
So it's always a surprise to me. I'll get a friend on Facebook, or I'll see myself in a store like, oh my gosh, look at that.
I know, right?
Pasted my art on it.
Well, we feel the same way as fans. We look around and we look at our favorite artists and we go, I think it's this person. And then lo and behold, it is that person. So.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, man.
It is very cool.
There's going to be that minute element out there that gets mad for you because you're not making $1 million off everything your image is on, but that's just not the way it is. I'm just, we're paid to do it. We're fortunate enough to have buy originals, and then when it does get recycled, that's all good.
Well, that is awesome stuff. Like I said, our guest today, Brian Rood. You can check out his artwork at brianrood.com. Purchase stuff on his fine art gallery there on the shopping button. You can support him. He's got Avengers prints. He's got Star Wars, also classic Disney in there as well. Indiana Jones. All of it is just absolutely awesome. And don't forget to check out...
I think you said Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters in there too. Yeah. Yeah, it's got, let's see, the Ghostbusters, and I think you've got Maleficent on there. You've got Han Solo stuff, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I mean, from Frozen to Spider-Man and just about everything in between, I would say.
Yeah, well, okay, let's talk about Frozen real quick, and we'll leave the big question at the end. But you've got a print that's still available called Building a Snowman. And you can pick this up. Now, people will be quite surprised. This print right now is $65 and free shipping right now. And you may not get this, if you order it now, you may not get this for the holidays, but it is a great gift nonetheless for Frozen fans.
After the holidays with your Visa gift cards, right?
Exactly. But it is awesome stuff. Now, Brian, there's a couple other things we need to mention. Let's first talk about something you described a little bit earlier about this new MacBook thing, this technology you're working on. What's going on with that?
Sure. Well, it's actually this really cool company that started, they had a Kickstarter thing. They've been around for a while. They call them MacBook Pro. They essentially are taking the MacBook Pro and Frankensteining it out and turning it into a portable Wacom, like the Wacom Cintiq technology, the tablet you actually draw on the screen, all thousand pressure sensitivity and everything. Mm-hmm. It's essentially a portable workstation. So for guys like me that have to be on the road, do shows, fly out to different companies to work in-house for a week or two, it's pretty cool to be able to grab your entire workstation, all your working files and everything, put them on a 13 or 15-inch, whichever version you buy of this thing, tablet, and you're ready to go. Wherever you go, you just plug it in and you're off and running with all your programs, everything set up just the way you want it, all your shortcuts and everything. It's really untethered the artist from having to be in the physical studio all the time. I mean, of course you want to be there because that's where your coffee and and stuff.
Right. Right.
Every now and again, just for the sheer sake of saving your own sanity a little bit, something else to get out there and have a tool like this available. As far as I know, it's the only one of its kind working with Mac platform.
So
Wacom builds essentially the same thing, but those are for Windows stuff.
So you're going to be doing
over to Mac, and I don't think I'm Mac. I kind of like it.
So you're going to be doing a actual panel on this and demoing it at Star Wars Celebration this year?
I'm going to be bringing it with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I never can guarantee anything of those shows because I just kind of roll with punches. You know what I mean? I mean, there may be time to do demo, there may not be time to do demo.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely bringing the new tools of trade, which would be these new digital techniques I'm doing, and incorporating them with the traditional stuff. And I'm looking forward to briefly showing and explaining to people how this new process that I'm developing is, which is, like I said, the digital underpainting essentially with traditional techniques overlaid on top of that. It's just a hybrid mixed medium.
Nice. So using that, did you use any of that into this IDW comic that you mentioned about working with the Army or the military?
No, that they were very specific. Well, one cover I did, one cover I didn't. One cover was pure traditional watercolor, great big watercolor painting, and the second cover I'd done with IDW was the mixture, in which I did incorporate this tool. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this comic with IDW. Now, IDW is a comic publisher, and they do all kinds of great stuff. I know that right now they're publishing Star Trek and Doctor Who books, but working with you, what are they?
Quite a bit of work with them in the past on the Transformers.
Transformers, that's right, Transformers.
30 plus covers on the Transformers movie-based comics.
Yeah.
And actually was approached 2 years ago at Comic-Con by an outfit doing a comic called America's Army Comic. It's actually for the Army. So I had to go through rigorous background checks and testing and all that good stuff to essentially get a government contract almost to do a couple of comic covers.
Oh, okay. So tell us a little bit about what this
project, and I can I'll send you a link too. I have a video posted.
Okay.
I think it's just on Facebook right now. They did a really fantastic quick video, kind of about me and my career to date. Just a quick little 5-minute, 7-minute video, but they did a really nice job, and it incorporates a lot of things we had discussed as well with their project. And I mean, definitely check it out. Free comic online. So
great.
No harm, no foul. Doesn't hurt to check it out. It's really good stuff. Buddy of mine, Zachary Sherman, was writing it and creating it and stuff. Can't say enough good things about it, basically.
So how did IDW find you? Just at a comic book convention, and they approached you because they liked your art?
Yeah, it was kind of like a friend of a friend. Liked my stuff. It was a friend of the writer, I believe.
Okay.
So it unfolded, I think.
Okay.
I don't really remember. It was 2 years ago, and there was a bunch of people at my booth, and next thing I know, they were saying, hey, you want to work for the Army?
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, sure, I think so. And it's kind of like it's a fictitious storyline, but there's a lot of things pulled from real world and stuff like that, but it's all G.I. Joe, basically.
Yeah, that's the real heroes, the real American heroes.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting that kind of chance, meeting or that kind of friendship kind of led you to this particular project. My question to you is, and we may have covered this in interviews in the past, but, as you started, doing your art and developing, creating your portfolio, how is it that you got founded by Acme or the people at Lucasfilm? Is that the first kind of commercial stuff you did for a big studio?
It was a long progression, dude. It was like, I started, when I was 20, I went to a comic convention. I was going to a local business college for graphic design. I thought I'd work at newspaper or something, assembling ads for magazine covers or whatever it may be. And I met a group of guys there that were going to comic book conventions, like 95-ish, 94, something like that. I never even really heard of comic book convention. That didn't really existed. I mean, I like comics when I was a kid too, but kind of went through and I'd say outgrew it for a while or thought it wasn't cool. Hit the years. Sure. And I went to that comic book convention. I was like 19 or 20 at the Chicago Wizard World. I walked through those doors and said, oh my goodness, man, what a cool culture this is. I didn't know anything like this existed out there. And I realized for, like $100, you could pick table up in Artist Alley, bring a couple little prints to sell, try to set a few easels up behind you and make a nice little display. And it just picked up. I mean, that was it. I found out about that show. I don't think I went online. I don't think I had the internet yet. Oh my gosh. So, I guess just word of mouth. I got that show. Got flyers. Yeah, those old-fashioned things. That's how I found out about other shows.
That's what we call paying your dues, folks. The old school way.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So I was at that Wizard World show. That was a big show in Wizard World. They had shows all over the country and stuff.
Yeah.
But all these other smaller shows in the tri-state area type thing. Basically, anything I could drive to without my car breaking down, I would go to back in the day and set up and hopefully sell enough little 8x10 laser copies from Kinko's to make my money back. But that's how the whole networking thing just started, man.
Wow.
Lots of independent, little private, just independent publishers, stuff you'd never hear of and you'll probably never ever see. But a lot of those little couple $100 gigs, stuff like that would always get me through until eventually we made it out to Comic-Con And got one good gig at Comic-Con, again, for an independent publisher. The book never saw the light of day, but they paid pretty well for it, enough work to get me through to the following year at Comic-Con. And then the following year at Comic-Con, I met a few more people, and it was all independent stuff. It was all these, those people paved the way for me, like the independent publishers and graphic novel guys, stuff like that needed a $500 cover, or even interior stuff. So it was really just doing that show network. And back in the day, I was just hoping, I found out who Steve Sansweet was through a friend. Like, who's this Steve Sansweet guy with this? Like, George Lucas's brother? Who is he? He's got a beard.
He's got a beard, yeah. Is he some sage Jedi?
Him and our director, Troy Alders, over there is always set up at the top of the pavilion at Comic-Con and do it, again, the 2-hour portfolio review line. I'd leave my little table in Artist Alley, have my wife or friend man the table back in the day, doing my pass up on $40 in sales,
Yeah, wow. Now that's great.
Portfolio line, show my portfolio, and it took me close to a decade to get my first job, Lucasfilm, and then it's just been a steady stream ever since then. Again, I just very fortunate with all that.
Well, talent and hard work does pay off. You were pounding the pavement and doing the circuit, and that's what every artist should do in order to get noticed.
Yeah, that was my success story, I guess. People always, younger guys and gals always ask me, like, how'd you get in? How'd you meet all the people too? Try to be at the right pool halls, the right dinners, and just get out there and find out where the good party's at with the publishers and editors. Not the good party with drinks, but the good party with people where you can possibly try to meet someone.
Yeah, it's all about being connective, and
a lot of chance meetings, dude. A lot of bumping into people in elevators. Oh, you own Heavy Metal Magazine? Oh yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Any chance I could do a gallery in your magazine? And a lot of stuff like that happened over the years.
Now that's awesome, and we love Heavy Metal Magazine for sure.
Oh yeah,
good stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I remember you before I knew you from the Star Wars stuff was actually you doing a bunch of pinup stuff because you put that pinup book out. You did a bunch of really cool art.
Pinup book when I was 27, and then kind of like the PG-13 pinup, and then obviously Heavy Metal, a couple little gallery things in there, some stuff in Airbrush Art and Action magazine. Getting those little things, those definitely helped out too. Just little spotlights, kind of like the interview we're doing here.
Yeah.
Stuff like that back in the day when you can get a few of those things rolling, it's like, people read about you, and then, they check your website out, and it's a slow build. There's nothing quick about it. Doing it for 20 years.
Yeah. Now that's hard work and dedication.
Overnight success or anything.
Well, yeah, the overnight success, it took 20 years. Yeah, it took 20 years to do this. It took 20 years for you to be an overnight success.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Well, I used to feel like a real young dude on the block, and I know why I didn't get any work back in the day. I didn't have the skill set quite like I do now, but dude, I looked like I was 12.
Yeah.
There's no way someone can hire this guy.
It's like,
he's like 16.
Yeah, Brian.
I'm married. It's okay. Hire me.
Yeah, you can't take this kid seriously. He plays in Limp Bizkit, for heaven's sake.
Gray hair will do, man. It's all right when you got gray hair. It's awesome.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. Same here. I totally understand. Last but not least, we'll ask you this, and I've asked you this before. A lot of people ask our guests, what they need to do in order to be and break into a particular field, whether it's acting or, creating comics, writing. How about you as an artist? What kind of information can you dispense and wisdom you can dispense on someone that wants to break into art or commercial art, as it were?
Well, the biggest thing across the board for any field, I think, is just integrity and honesty. That's huge. You meet a lot of people that don't have much of either of those, Not trying to be on any moral high ground or anything like that, but just being a good person overall helps out a heck of a lot in any field. But then as far as the art goes, trying to break in, doing similar stuff to what I do and other guys like me and gals like me is diversity, but yet have kind of what we were talking about earlier, where I said it's taken a long time to develop a style where there's a bit of a uniform look, but I can change it up when I need to, If you want kind of like that high-polished toy package, I can do that. Or if you want kind of a grittier watercolor fine art print, I can do that. And then I can actually meet somewhere in the middle of both of those too,
Nice.
So having kind of a diverse portfolio, but yet you have to have enough of each. You can't just throw 7 different styles in there for the fun of it. You got to have, if you have 7 different styles, that's saying you have 5 or 10 pieces of each of those styles to prove that you're consistent in that field or in that style of art. Just being diverse like that has really helped me along a ton. I've done everything from storyboards to baseball cards to all the stuff I do with Star Wars and Disney. It's just, if you can think of a product or piece of merchandise that has artwork on it, the odds are, at some facet over the years, I've illustrated it.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the lines,
Yeah, like lunchboxes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on there, but I'm imagining it will be, or maybe I wouldn't be surprised, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. No, that is great. Once again, awesome advice for people breaking into the art and getting into the business, as it were. And once again, working in so many different media that you do, Brian, people can really kind of take the time and learn and study just from looking at the various art that's out there. That's and kind of looking at the influences that you have and integrating others.
There's nothing new under the sun, really. I mean, there's plenty of my stuff. You can look at all my older stuff. Like, I was really trying to rip off Drew in that one. I was really trying to rip off Michael Whalen or these other great painters and stuff. And it wasn't really a matter of ripping anyone off. It was just, I think it's just learning your way,
Yeah. Now that Star Wars The Force Awakens, Episode 7, the teaser is out. Did you see it, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yes, and loved it. I thought it was fantastic, dude. I'm so excited about this film. I mean, when I saw it, it was the same as everybody else. Basically, it wasn't like I had any kind of inside scoop or I'd seen anything prior to that from the teaser. It was just all new to me, too, and it was really something special. I think the movie's going to be fantastic.
Well, like I said,
what did you think about it?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I can't tell you how many podcasts and radio shows and interviews I've done where I've just been so... I felt the moment I saw John Boyega pop up, my heart started pounding. The night before...
It was very... The way that it was done was fantastic. It had that classic feel to it. And I mean, obviously classic Star Wars, but even more like just classic film. It was so cool.
Yeah. What I liked about it a lot was the fact that it concentrated on what new things we were going to see and just gave us a taste of the classic fighters. It's like they are X-Wings, but they're not X-Wings. It's the Millennium Falcon, with a little bit of a modern twist, the new I call it the new DirecTV satellite dish. Right?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
The old one was like when the guy had that satellite in his front yard from 1984 that was half the size of his home.
Exactly.
That was like the old one, right? And
yeah.
The new one's the
forever. Yeah, forever, Chewbacca had to deal with standard definition holograms, and now...
Oh, yeah, dude, it's on HD now.
Yeah, it's like HD4 now, whatever it is, so it's awesome. Yeah. And then, what I like is that BB-8, the beach ball droid that I love so much.
Awesome.
When he started rolling across, I started smiling on the inside like I was 9 years old again. And
it solved a lot of problems right there, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but he still has...
had the issue with R2 and Saints and stuff. It's not going to work out real well.
Right.
So, just do the ball.
Yeah, just do the ball.
How does it get any better than that? He's all-terrain, man.
Yeah, right?
He may even float. Who knows?
He might.
Right over water, for all we know.
He might, and that would be really good. I'm down with that. Yeah. Cool stuff there in the trailer. I have to say that it's always a pleasure to speak to you, Brian. Very talented.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you can check out his artwork at the Art of Disney stores, at the D Street stores, at the Disney parks nationwide. You can also check out brianrood.com. He's also on Facebook. Got a lot of really cool things he put on Facebook, and not only will you be at Star Wars Weekends, the last weekend of Star Wars Weekends, and I'll put that in the show notes, but also a Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2015, April 16th through 19th, San Diego Comic-Con this year, and let's see, what else am I missing? And the D23 Expo. Yep, D23 Expo, you'll be there as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking those are going to be all the ones that are guaranteed, and then we'll see how much energy and time is in the schedule to actually squeeze a few others in there. Like you said, on Facebook and stuff, I'll keep everything posted and updated there.
That's right. And also be on the lookout for that brand new compendium of artwork coming out from Lucasfilm.
That's a big one, man. That's the last year and a half in the making. About another half a year to get the prequels in there too, but it's going to be pretty exciting stuff.
I cannot wait. Brian, always a pleasure. Exclusive artwork and reveals to be had at shortsounds.com and JediMouseketeer.com in anticipation for this brand new book. And Brian, is there anything else we need to mention or plug?
One thing I just thought of as I'm looking up on my wall here, I forgot to make mention. It's not a huge deal, but Star Wars art calendar came out this year.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to be, obviously, they're not going to be there for the holiday, but I'm going to put it up on my website this upcoming weekend for a real fair price, and I'll sign each one. But it's a 2015 calendar of 15 of my watercolor paintings of Star Wars characters.
Oh, I like that.
Star Wars characters. Yeah, something they told me about it last year when I was at Lucasfilm doing some work, and then I completely forgot about it. Then I was just on Amazon looking for Christmas gifts for my kids, and stumbled across it somehow, and I said, oh my gosh, it's out.
Okay, great. So people can go to your website.
Late to the game on that, but it's there.
So people can go to your website, or they can go to our Amazon?
I bought it. I picked up a few for myself. So actually, if you want to go to my website, you can give it a few days, go there and pick one up. And if not, then go to Amazon and get them wherever.
Well, okay.
But they're out there, man.
Well, that's a great thing. The fact of the matter is you can contact Brian Rood on his website, because I don't see it right now on your store, but...
yeah, exactly.
But you can email him, and like I said, what's better than ordering it from the artist, supporting the artist yourself, and then having him sign it as well? I think I'm going to go ahead and pick one of those up.
You go to Amazon, but you won't get a signed copy, right?
That's right. That's right. You might as well get the signed copy.
Get one for me, man.
Get the signed copy. That's what I'm going to do right now. Brian, thank you so much for joining us again on the show, and we appreciate you giving us the exclusive on the brand new art book for Star Wars.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
All right, you too, man. Have a great one.
The WDW Tiki Room with Kristen and Aljon.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is
srsounds.com.
La 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 la. On the first day of Christmas.
Get your tickets right over here for Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. This has been a recording.
It's the WDW Tiki Room Podcast.
Glad to see you all aboard. Sure, or wherever you are.
With your hosts, Kristen and Aljon.
So it is. And what darling people I have sitting under me.
Hello, Disney fans. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Aljon of the WDW Tiki Room Podcast. On this podcast, we feature highlights from our Tiki Room morning and midday shows that originally aired on Sorcerer Radio.
You can interact with us via Twitter at WDW Tiki Room and email us at trms@srsounds.com. Also, check out our website, wdwtikiroom.info.
Subscribe to the show via iTunes and Blueberry to get Disney news, interviews, trip planning info, and don't forget to give us those 5-star ratings.
And make sure to tune in Fridays at 8 a.m. for the Tiki Room Morning Show under new management, with an encore presentation at 7 p.m. Then at 1 p.m. for the Tiki Room Midday Show, all times Eastern, only on Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com.
The WDW Tiki Room Podcast with Kristen and Aljon. Thanks for listening. Enjoy.
Crisis for the geek kind. Top geek officials admit they underestimated the hipsters' defense capability. Join the geek revolution and save the galaxy. Geeks from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future. They're doing their part. Are you? Want to know more? Join Weeby Geeks and the Geek Revolution and save the world. Service guarantees citizenship. Listen to Weeby Geeks podcast on iTunes and Stitcher or online at WeebyGeeks.net. Weeby Geeks, your voice for the Geek Revolution. Want to know more?
This podcast is a joint production of the Sorcerer Radio Network, WDW Tiki Room, and the Weeby Geeks Podcast Network. WDW Tiki Room is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or its holdings and is intended for entertainment purposes.